Reading is a fundamental ability in the modern world. Some people only read when absolutely necessary, but others read for education and entertainment. Some of the best novels of all time come from the 1800s. Here are 10 authors everyone should read from the 19th century. First up at number 10 is Bram Stoker. Abraham or Bram Stoker was an Irish author born in 1847 and is responsible for creating what is perhaps the most iconic horror character of all time, Count Dracula. Released in 1897, Dracula is a story about the Count moving to England in search of new blood and coming to battle with Van Helsing. Although he did not invent vampires, Bram Stoker defined their modern form with this story. Next at number 9 is Jane Austen. Back in the early 1800s, Jane was responsible for a number of the most popular English literature books of all time, such as 1813's Pride and Prejudice and 1811's Sense and Sensibility. Jane's work is well known for both its irony and its realism. Her novels are the inspiration for tons of critical essays and stories. Coming in at number 8 is Thomas Hardy. Hardy's most well-known work is 1895's Jude the Obscure. One of the most controversial novels of its time, Jude the Obscure tells the tale of Jude Fawley, a young stonemason who inspires to become a scholar. Jude the Obscure is considered by many to be one of the saddest novels of all time, as it is the ultimate story of disappointment. At 7 we have Jules Verne. The king of the science fiction genre, Jules Verne should be an essential entry on anyone's to-read list. Whether it's a subterranean adventure and journey to the center of the earth, a high-stakes trip across the globe and around the world in 80 days, or on a voyage with the mysterious Captain Nemo 20,000 leagues under the sea, it's easy to see why so many people over the years have been entertained by Verne's work. Number 6 on our list is Lewis Carroll. Anyone who has ever opened a book or has even seen a book before has heard of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Also known as Alice in Wonderland, Carroll's creation from 1865 is one we've all grown to love. From Disney movies, both animated and live action, plays, radio, comic books, music, television shows, and even video games, there hasn't been a form of media that hasn't adapted Alice's Adventures yet. Taking a trip down the rabbit hole is a must for any reader at any age. Next at number 5 is Charlotte Bronte. The Bronte name is a classic of English literature. Charlotte's 1847 novel Jane Eyre was considered by many to be ahead of its time. Often described as the best novel written from a female perspective, Jane Eyre tells the story of a young orphan who would grow to become one of the most revolutionary characters of all time. 4 is Charles Dickens. 1843's A Christmas Carol is the most critical Christmas story ever written. This story of redemption is just one of Dickens' many legendary stories. 1839's Oliver Twist, 1850's David Copperfield, and 1859's A Tale of Two Cities are just a few of Dickens' many major novels that would go on to influence writers for well over a century. At 3 we have Samuel Clemens. Better known as Mark Twain, Clemens' most well-known work is 1884's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which would come to be known as the Great American Novel. It would be hard to find a more iconic American figure in all of literature. Sam has also written essays, poetry, and nonfiction. Almost done at number 2 is Emily Bronte. Released in 1847, Emily's first and only novel, Wuthering Heights, a gothic tale of love and vengeance, was enough to earn her a place amongst the best writers of her time. Emily was the younger sister of our number 5, Charlotte Bronte. Emily sadly passed away at the young age of 30, just 1 year after the release of her debut novel, Wuthering Heights. Finally, at number 1 is Alexandre Dumas. This French master storyteller is responsible for writing 2 of the biggest historical novels of all time. The first being 1844's The Three Musketeers, a story about 4 swashbuckling companions which Dumas would write several sequels for, and the second being 1845's The Count of Monte Cristo, a legendary story about a young man who suffers from false imprisonment and will later go on to get even with those who wronged him. The Count of Monte Cristo is perhaps the greatest story of revenge ever written. So there you had 10 19th century authors everyone should read. I hope you enjoyed our list. If you did, give it a like, and maybe we've inspired you to pick up a book by one of these authors from over a century ago. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the list of it.